Hi guys, what's going on? This is Chris with IPGRentals.com, and today I'm going to take you through the Nucleus M follow focus system by Tilta. Let's check it out. So what I have in front of me is the Nucleus M system, and for our rental purposes, we've purchased a couple more things for the inside package for us specifically at IPGRentals.com. So I'm going to kind of go piece by piece and show you what we have in our package. We start off with these IMR 18650 batteries. These don't come with it when you buy it. You actually have to buy these separate. We have 6 of these batteries, and we actually have 2 chargers as well. If I pull it out from right here, you can actually see what the charger looks like. We have a 4-part charger, or 4-battery charger. We also have a 2-battery charger as well to get the max charge and the fastest charge. You have 2 of the Nucleus M motors that go on your rods. You have what's called the FUZZ. It's the hand controller. FUZZ stands for focus, iris, and zoom, which I think is kind of a catchy little number that they did. You have 2 hand controllers. And what's cool about this is if you're a righty or a lefty, this can actually be repurposed and moved to the other side. So right now I have it on a right-handed calibration for the joystick, but as you can see, there are leads on this side for you to be able to unscrew it and put it on this side if you want to use it with a left-handed thumb. What's attached on the top of these right now are a bracket to hook onto a Ronin or a Movi, whatever you have for stabilization. So I have these attached right now, which you'll see in just a few minutes for demonstration purposes. All right, and you're gonna get a 3/16 Allen wrench. They're gonna be for tightening those brackets for the handles. You get 3 removable focus rings, but what's great about the focus rings is you actually are able to do digital marks inside of the FUZZ. So it's not that these are now kind of useless. It's, you know, because I like the old school version of being able to mark it up with a dry erase marker, but at the same time, you know, they thought ahead and they put it actually digitally, and you can do up to 10 marks inside of the FUZZ, which I'll show you in just a minute. You're going to get 2 of these brackets, which can be used for shoulder rigs or the next generation Ronin, which you can actually install on the side instead of across the top bar. And you're actually going to get 3 of these cables, which are LEMO cables, and I'll explain that in one second. This is going to be your main power, and you can get with the ones we got the P-tap to LEMO, which we can plug into any of our B4B batteries or Baleen batteries. We also have the bracket goes on the back of our cameras that you can plug into as well. And this starts the long train, the long daisy train of LEMO connections that will power the motors. So you can see we have one P-tap to LEMO, we have a shorty LEMO to LEMO, and then we have a longer LEMO cable as well. So powering these is very, very simple. You can see on the top, you see extension 2 and extension 1. You can see there's 2 right there. And then I flip it over, and here's 1. And when you lay them on, you just put your power source into 2, and then 1 daisy chain to the next, and to the next, and you can go up to 4, which is awesome. So there's not multiple power sources or anything crazy like that. So these are actually very, very intuitive. So these are all powered by these batteries that I talked about in the very beginning, and each controller takes 2 batteries. So the FUZZ is going to take 2 batteries, and there's a nice little slot right here that you just hit this button, and the thing pops straight open. Batteries are right here. It's as easy as that. And I've been playing with this thing for about a day and a half now, and the battery meter has not gone down at all. Maybe 0.1% of voltage, and so that's pretty impressive. And so we do have some extra batteries that we bought. Just you can never have enough batteries out in the field, so just in case. And then these also take 2 batteries each as well. Same exact system on the bottom. Then when you hit that button, this bottom pops, and you're powered and ready to go. Okay, so now we've gone through the general idea of what you get inside of the package when you rent it. Let's talk about the FUZZ and how the FUZZ kind of works, what the display is going to kind of show you. So right now and right here, I have the FUZZ. And you can see, and when you get it and feel it, it's very solid. You can feel it's made out of some sort of metal. And then the back has this really, really neat kind of wood grain kind of feel. But the first reaction that I get when I hold it is very solid. So I have to definitely give them props for that. So turning it over here, before I even turn it on, you see you have your menu, your enter, and your up and down selection buttons. And then when I turn it over here, you can see you have the zoom joystick, the record feature, your function, your delete, your mark, and your calibrate buttons right on the side. And on the top, you have a USB, and then you also have your LEMO output, because you could do direct control to these motors as well in case you're having a really bad signal in an area where you are. So worst case scenario, you can control them through a LEMO connection as well. So let's go ahead and turn this puppy on. You hold down this awesome kind of alien logo. You can feel it kind of vibe, and the lights light up around the ring. And so let's just discuss this a little bit. So on the top left, you're going to see you have your voltage meter, which when the batteries are fully charged is like 7.9 or 8 volts. And you can see that it's barely gone down since I've been messing with it for a day and a half. You see the standby right there on the top. And that standby, actually, you can calibrate the motors with a cable to start the recording on the camera, which is awesome, so that you can save the camera up. You know, a little bit of worry, you can always punch it right on the side using the record button. And they sell those cables differently, of course, for different cameras. And then you see right there where it says master. This is either the master controller, the FUZZ, or you can change it to slave, which gives the hand controller the master ability to control the zoom, focus, and iris. And then on the right side, you see the battery meter right there, and you can see it's full right now. So they actually give you two different versions of seeing the battery, which is kind of nice. Right here in the middle, you see the bar, and that's focus. That'll tell you where you are on your focus wheel and how far you are in either direction. And then from there, that big M that you see, that right there is the signal strength. There's L, M, and H for low, medium, and high. And obviously it'll use a little less battery if you're low, and if you're right next to the camera op, you can use your low, and then as you get further away, you can use the function for a much higher and more powerful radio frequency. The 00 are your channels. They go all the way to 14. It's kind of like thinking about scanning for audio channels or frequencies or scanning for radio signals. Same exact thing, and when you do it the easy setup, that actually kind of scans it for you, which we'll go over in just a minute. And then over there, you can see the I and the Z, which is iris and zoom, and it'll show positions as well for zoom and your iris right now. But I actually don't have anything set up for iris at the moment because of the motors are off at the moment, and also we have two motors which are going to handle zoom and focus. On the far right, you can see 1, 2, and 3, and those are the motor priority. So motor number 1 is going to be focus, 2 is iris, and 3 is zoom. And then the percentage are torque. And what torque is kind of the sensitivity and speed of the 2 and 3. And then actually for zoom specifically, you see the S on the bottom for speed, it says 0.4. And you can actually adjust that by double tapping the up and down. And I always find that when you're doing a zoom, I like to do, obviously if you're going to do a zoom with the cinema lens, it's probably going to be a slower zoom, so I'd probably start off in the lows and then move it up as you need it. So on the side, you'll actually see where it says function. If you hold that down, it's actually going to lock the controller up, which is actually nice because, you might have this around your neck, it might be jingling around your neck, and just to not have any buttons hit, that's always a nice little feature, but it still allows you to move the focus wheel. So I'm going to unlock it by hitting the function or holding the function button until I feel it vibrate, and it says unlock versus lock. So that's kind of a basic understanding of the menu in here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just turn it off. And you hold that down, it says 3, 2, 1, and now it's off. Let's go ahead and put our fancy zoom and focus motors on here. So What's good is these are interchangeable. So not one thing is dedicated to one motor. So it's not like one is iris, one is zoom, one is focus. It's all interchangeable inside the menu. So they all come with this adjustable bracket right here. And what's good is the bracket, it's not like different size brackets for different size rods. This thing can extend for a larger diameter rod, or it can actually collapse for a smaller rod. And what's cool is you can also put it in on the bottom too. So this can actually go something like this. You can go all kinds of crazy directions, which is fantastic, and it can go and slide almost the entire length of the motor itself. So let's go ahead and put this puppy on. And so what you do is you can go in here. Now they do give you these lens rings because the DSLR lenses typically do not have teeth on their focus and zoom rings, so you kind of have to put your own teeth. So they have these focus rings on here, and you can go ahead and put this right up against it. Now because this lens does have hard stops for zoom, and most lenses do, this is going to be a super simple calibration for the zoom. Now on the other hand, this has an infinite focus here, which could provide a challenge for some follow focus systems, but not for this one. It's easy to map it out, and I'll show you very shortly. So let me go ahead and put the second one on here. All right. What I like about this system is it's complex but not complicated. So I think it does multiple things for you, but it's not, you know, the learning curve is not heavy at all. You know, I learned this thing in just an hour and a half, and now I feel very, very comfortable with it. So when you get it, and this video will help you do it, but it's really not a hard learning curve. So, so complex, not complicated. So anyway, like I was saying in the beginning, this is going to be signal flow, the mother of all power. So I'm going to go ahead into the back here and plug this baby in. Actually, I'm going to stand up, but I will sit back down. So I'm going to plug this in right here. All right. So we have this, and obviously we would dress this up as we need to, so it's not in the camera operator's face. So I'm going to go ahead and plug this in, turn it a little bit so you can see a little bit better, and I'm going to tilt this down to exterior number 2, external number 2, and I'm going to plug this in right here. So that's going to give power to the first one, and because there's a very short distance that we have to go, I'm going to go external 1. And I'm just going to go ahead and plug it into this one right here. All right, so now you can see that you've got power to not only one, but 2 of them. So to go ahead and start it up, there's a power button right here, and you're just going to go ahead and hold that down, and you can see that it actually turned both of them on, which is awesome. And it's going to help when you do your setup, because that's going to actually, when you do it's called the easy setup, which is the scanning setup for channels. When you turn on the easy scan here, it's going to turn it on for this one as well. So that's nice when they're connected, they actually share information as well. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on the easy scan, which is very simple. There's a channel up and a down here, there's a power, enter, and menu. And the menu is very similar to what's inside of the FUZZ as well. Not as complicated. Obviously the FUZZ is more of a master controller for all this stuff. But really what's inside here and what's also inside the hand grip is going to be exactly the same. It's just going to be motor number, channel number, very simple stuff as far as being able to map it out with your main controller. And then same kind of thing here. Now I have the batteries already in the bottom of this one here. And to turn it on, the recording button is also the power button as well. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this, and you can see that it turns on. So to set these all up together, there's 2 ways that you can do it. You can see that they're set to 0, 0 right now, and they're all set to 0, 0, and this back one also is set to 0, 0 as well. And a way to do that is you can actually manually go in, put the channel in, and it can sync up that way. Or there's something called the easy setup, which I will go into right now. So let's go ahead and start with the motor system right here. To set up the easy system, you go into channel up, channel down, and you go ahead and you hit them both at the same exact time, and that sets up the easy mode right there. And you can see that it's actually speaking for two motors right here, the 00 and 01, external 1 and external 2 motors. So these are already speaking. Now this had me thrown for a bit of a loop when I first started, because the back one doesn't have the easy setup on, but it is communicating with both. And also, so the same thing for this controller right here. To enter the easy setup, you go ahead and you hold down the menu and the down. So we're in easy mode right here. And then for the FUZZ you would go ahead and let's turn her on real quick. And to enter this mode, you would hit the top and the bottom button, and that goes into easy mode as well. So we're on channel 00 across the board. So let's go ahead and go to channel, let's just say, let's go to 4. 4 is my favorite number. So then you'd say enter, searching, handle R, see that right there, and then the motors 1 and 2. So it found it, and I go ahead and hit enter, configuration finished. This changed to 4, now you see this back here, changed to 4, that is 4, and then if you can see the handle, that is also set to 4. Very simple. Now, if you wanted to do it manually, all you would have to do is go into the menu, then you go into wireless, and where it says 2.4G, you'd enter that, and you can change your channel right there. And then inside the menu on the motor and the handle, it's very, very simple. There's only about 4 selections, and one of them is channel, and you can change it there. And then here under mode, you can also change it to high, medium, and low for the radio signal strength. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of there. Okay, so right now everybody is talking, and you can see that this is talking with this right here. And I haven't set up the zoom just yet, so we'll see that in 1 second. So now that we have everybody talking to each other, the handle, the zoom, and the focus, let me just show you really quick how to switch in between the master for this and making the handle the master right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this right here, and in order to change it, you just hit the function button once, and you'll see that this master, you double click it and see that the master becomes the slave. Now that I've made this the slave, I can pick up this controller, and you can see now that this is talking to the motor. Now, let me show you really quick how to set up the zoom calibration. Now, the zoom calibration and the focus calibration and the iris calibration is going to be exactly the same. And there's a really simple way to do it if you have hard stops. Generally with iris and with zoom, you are going to have hard stops. So it's as easy as, I'm going to go ahead and set this puppy. This is motor number 2, and I have it set up for motor number 2 to be the zoom. So underneath, and let me see if you can see this, underneath, so when I'm talking about this one, I'm going to refer to this one so you can see it. So there's the channel minus right here, and you also see cal underneath its calibration. So what you can do is all you do is you go and press and hold down calibration, and it will map it because it detects the hard stops from either side. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down the calibration, and you can see, and here we go. So that just went to all the sides. And now that the calibration is complete, I have my joystick in my hand because it's the master right now. And you can see the little joystick right there. And you can actually see that the joystick is controlling the motion. And it's also going to control the focus when I go ahead and input that. So let's go ahead and do it. I'm going to go ahead and put this down at the moment. And I'm going to change this back over to the master. So I'm going to go ahead and do a manual calibration on this lens. And because this lens does not have hard stops, it does need to be calibrated, and you're going to have to use your eyes to do it. and I will show you exactly how to get it done. So you're going to go into the menu, right? And you're going to go down to Function, and you go to Manual Calibration, Focus. So what you want to do is you want to set this lens without touching this baby to your infinite. So make sure that the lens is set to infinity, and make sure that your focus wheel is moved all the way to the right. Then you're going to go ahead and attach your teeth to your lens and go ahead and say enter, and it's going to say turn the knob. After it says turn the knob, you're going to slowly rotate it and watch the top of your lens to when it gets to macro. And then after it gets to macro, you're going to be good. After it gets to macro, you're going to hit enter. You're going to see the lens move, and from there you have your full range. Now it's very important to not overshoot your start and your end point, because then you'll just have to redo the whole calibration over, because it's going to get sloppy when you get to your endpoints back and forth. So after you have that, you have your zoom. So now you can see that we have done a full calibration on the focus, and we also have the zoom ready to go. So now that we've done a basic setup here, I want to take you through just a couple of other really cool features that the FUZZ has, because it kind of, I'm not going to say it makes us obsolete. I like marking points definitely as much as any AC, but at the same time, Tilta thought to themselves, you know, we can make that digital, and we can definitely help the process along while using these or not using these. So I want to go ahead and show you how to do a focus range and also some focus marks as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at the marks. So you can see that I'm all the way over here. And so say I have a mark right here, that's going to be my A mark. So all you have to do is double tap that mark button, and that will make a mark. And you see that it says A right there. So now if I go ahead and go over to the top to another part of the focus, I can mark it with B, and I can do another one for C. Now what's really great about this is this whole controller will vibrate once you get close to a mark. So if you're at A, you're on your way to B, and you hit B, it actually vibrates once you get over the top of that. So instead of having to look down at your marks and see the shot in your periphery, you can actually just watch the shot, and you can know just by feeling the controller, okay, I'm at that mark, I'm at that mark. So you're not relying so heavily on your peripheral vision, and while watching your marks, you can actually just do that by marking it and just feeling it, which is a fantastic innovation that they've come with. And to delete all these, you see that there's a delete button right here, and you just double tap the delete button, and it'll go backwards in the order that you set your marks. So C will go away, B will go away, and A will go away. All right, so now we're back to square one, there's no marks. And now to do a focus range, you can actually, it's the same exact thing with mark, but instead of double tapping the mark button, you're actually going to hold it and then release it when you get to your range. So if my range, I want it to be here, I'm going to hold down the mark button, I'm going to move it to a range, and then I'm going to release it. And you can see, now the white area is going to be your range, and then to get rid of that, you just hold down the delete button, and now you're back to square one. So it's these really small innovations that Tilta's done that have really changed the entire game, you could say, as far as how easy this is. And there's a load of customizable things inside here. Now let's move on to the hand controller, because there's a few things on there I'd like to show you as well. So to go ahead and bring it out to the controller, I'm going to go ahead and hit function twice. That is going to go ahead and make this the slave. So right here we have the hand controller, and you can see kind of right off the bat the 7.8 standby M04. The KJ, K stands for knob, J stands for joystick. And you can actually set ranges on this, which is fantastic, because this is good. This is actually a very long way. So this is 120 degrees that you have to turn to be able to get from your point A to your point B. So Tilta, they were thinking about it, and they said, well, we can set that up and split that up by 3 different ranges. So if you go ahead and move your knob all the way to the left side, and you activate the range button, now your range goes down to 90 degrees instead of 120 degrees. And even better, if you deactivate this and you turn it all the way to your right side and you activate this, it's only 60 degrees. So you'll get from your entire point A to point B in less than half of a turn. So that's actually awesome if you have a cine lens, and the cine lens, the focal range is massive on cine lens. I mean, you got to turn this thing 6 times in order to get from one side to the other. So this actually really helps if you have this on a Ronin, you're doing this yourself, you need to get from point A to point B really quick. So you can go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and rotate it all the way to the right again and disengage it, and now you have a very long range for focus. Very customizable. And then one more thing on here, you'll see there's a little button that says focus and iris, and this will actually set a focal range for you as well. And you can see on here it says free for the knob, and what you can do is you double tap it just when you start at a range, double tap it, and you can see a little A right there, and then I'm going to go to another point and it'll say B, so A to B. So that only gives me a range of what I've specifically entered in, and then to get rid of it, you double tap it again, and now that range is gone. So now that we've kind of taken you through the basics of setting it up, some of the really cool features inside of it, I just want to talk about its applications past the FUZZ. The FUZZ is awesome for your first AC for focus and everything like that, but the camera operator is not going to hold this himself. So let's talk about how you can use these tools that Tilta has given you. So I'm going to go ahead and put the FUZZ down, and if you see right behind me I have the Ronin. Now I've gone ahead and taken off the stock DJI handles that they have on here, and Ronin over time has come out with different items to make zoom and focus a little bit more attainable, but really I think that this puts the nail in the coffin, because they've made it so that you can specifically with their bar diameter go ahead and put these things on, which I'm going to do right here really quick. And then you tighten it down. Now this actually does come with 2 rings on the inside in case you have a bar diameter that's a little bit different. Then you go ahead and throw the other one in. And it is as absolutely easy as that to have this operation. And this is very ergonomic too. It sits well in your hand, and just like that, you've got the zoom and you've got the focus on this, which is very incredible. Now that's the Ronin application. What's really cool is you can go ahead and put the handles actually on this puppy right here. These handles come right off, and through the same bar diameter that this has right here, you can put these right on, and it's a really comfy feel for a pro cinema shoulder rig. And this is our shape rig, the EOS shape rig that we have for the C cameras. This is also available for rental. And again, you can do the handle, or you can go ahead and outfit the rods with the motors for an AC or for you to operate yourself. So Tilta has really done an amazing job with this. It's got an application for so many different things. I mean, we haven't done it yet, but we're toying around putting this handle on the Steadicam rig and doing it that way. I just think that there's an endless amount of things that you can do with this. So we look forward to you renting it out from us and trying it out and hearing what you think about it. So at IPGRentals.com, we want you to be comfortable and confident with the gear that we rent. So every Monday at 9 a.m. we drop a new video with tips and tricks regarding the gear that we rent. So please like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, IPG Rentals, our gear, your vision.